Welcome to v4yav Media, real talk, talk real, where we talk about the realest issues and subjects to affect our community. Do you mind introducing yourself for us?
So my name is Tennyson Nerigi. I work at London Rangers as a content producer. On the side, I do a lot of skateboarding, and yeah, I'm doing this little talk for Jermaine. And there's a lot of work for the kids.
Thank you so much, bro. I really appreciate your valuable, very inspirational, positive, motivational thoughts to society. And I'd just like to pick your brains on a few questions. First question, what are you passionate about and what helps you to relieve the stress that is mounted day by a society that is constantly piling pressure onto our young people, young vulnerable adults, and not enough support? What do you do to help and cope with stress?
So for me, like what I said earlier, my biggest therapy is skateboarding. Skateboarding really saved my life. Like, it's how a lot of people play football, but for me it was skateboarding because that was what drew me in. It was always something so creative and something so powerful because it's so endless. I know it's very tricky to explain something like that, which is so intricate to like the mainstream audience. But when you talk about societal dysfunctions, all my mates who skateboard were all like escaping, running away from real problems, and we channeled that all into skateboarding. So I had a lot of friends who were doing some real crazy stuff. You know how like the streets go, and skateboarding was our outlet, and we put all of our energies into that. Like whenever we finished school, we just went to the skate park and we just skated. That's all we cared about. We didn't care about drugs, alcohol, girls. It was all just skateboarding. Like that's what meant the world to us, you know. Like even though it might not help us get a job, it was like the little things we learned from it. We learned perseverance, we learned endurance, we learned endless things. Just like when society just kicks you down, skateboarding teaches us to like get back up and go do it again. Like there's no such thing as like being defeated. Like proper skaters, you get beat up, you just get back up and you keep going, and that's how I see life. I feel life is a metaphor for skateboarding.
That's a really phenomenal example, and thank you for sharing that. And again, I can totally relate, and I bet so many young people are going to be able to relate to being knocked down, but you know, it's about getting back up, persevering, trying, never giving up, being determined, being dedicated. And that brings me on to my second question. What can young people do to relieve themselves from stress, and what can they do to motivate and inspire themselves so that they can reach their full potential?
So for me, it was skateboarding. I wouldn't say everyone just go skate. I always want everyone to try it though. But I don't think skateboarding is always the end all be all. There's always going to be that that thing for you. It could be art, it could be skateboarding, it could be football. Like, we don't have to feel like everything's all academic, you know? Like, oh, it's all school. Don't get me wrong, school helps and it's kind of important, but we should never stop it at that. And to like get there, it's quite tricky. Like, sometimes I feel like I got it on a whim, but we have to always assess our surroundings. So for me, the skate park was like 2 minutes from me. It's a really shit skate park, but it was there and I utilised it. I found my love for something, and that's what defined me as a person since I was 14. So just assess your surroundings, see what's there, just because there's no one there. So like for me, that skate park was pretty much empty, but I just started with me and a few other boys, and now all my mates, I knew them through skating because I just kept exploring. But it could be anything, just never count anything out, and also stick to it. Never like, it'll be like a massive hump. It's not like you'll jump on something and you'll be like the most talented person ever. There's no such thing. Like, I had to persevere for a year before I got decent, and then it pays off. So whether it's art, don't just pick something up and let it go. I think whatever you have, just channel everything you can into it, especially when you're young, or even when you're not that young anymore. It's all about chasing, and if it helps you, just keep going.
Incredible answers and really inspirational. And finally, but yet most importantly, for young people and young vulnerable adults that are struggling with mental health, with peer pressure, day-to-day society, what advice can you give them to empower them and to help them move forward from being stuck, being stagnant, to be able to elevate and to move forward and to achieve and accomplish?
I believe it's all circles. Always assess your circles, man. You want to keep everyone. You don't want to just be around people who are going to coach you down. You want to also be with friends who you want to take up with you. Always assess your friends. Keep positive. Yeah, and whatever problems you have, like we all have demons and problems, but the best way to go about it is talk to people, talk to your mates, talk to people you care about. We always have someone. We shouldn't be scared about like toxic masculinity and all of this stuff. Like all of that is all secondary to like life. Life is much bigger than we are, so I feel like talking. We have a mouth, let's just talk about our problems, and like we live in a different age now where people are becoming more accepting. So look at your friends, talk to your friends. And yeah, like, wherever you're feeling, like, no one's gonna judge you. Like, we all go through shit. But, yeah, when we speak about it, that shit's not shit anymore.